Will we remember everything we learn in heaven, or will we have limited cognitive capabilities? The answer to that is we will be forever growing in heaven of the knowledge of what Christ has done, knowing more about God, understanding our environment, understanding other people. But we will have a sort of limited cognitive capacities. A million years could go by, and obviously we'll have learned a bunch, but we might have a similar conversation with someone that we might have spoken with a million years ago, and then we'll be having that conversation and just rejoicing again in all that the Lord has done, maybe talking about something similar that we may not exactly remember. Even still, if we are able to remember every single conversation, every little tidbit of information, we are always going to be learning something new. There's always something new when it comes to God because He is infinite. He transcends all, and our cognitive capacities will never be able to fully understand God or take in everything from God. We'll be able to understand Him truly, but we won't be able to understand Him fully because to understand God fully would make us God ourselves. But with God, there's always something new to experience, to learn, to embark on, to pursue, to enjoy. God is an unending fountain of all that is of Him, which we can't even put into words everything that God is, which is so wonderful and it's so exciting. So when we go to heaven, we can trust that we are always going to be learning and growing. We'll never learn or know it all. There's always going to be something new to do, to see, to experience, to enjoy, to speak about. But we most likely will have limited cognitive capabilities because if we are to live for an eternity, obviously there's going to be most likely some common conversations that we will have, but we won't reach the irritation like we do now as far as, if a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's and they say the same story over and over again. We get tired from listening to it. If we're a very gracious person and patient, we'll listen to it, we'll be engaged, and we might not respond like we did the first story as the 100th time. But in heaven, it's not going to be like that at all. Every conversation is going to be filled with joy and awesomeness as if we're hearing it for the first time. And so our cognitive capabilities most likely are limited to the standpoint of we can't remember everything. And I don't think that reveals a limitation because only God can know all things, remember all things. But nonetheless, even if our cognitive capabilities are able to remember every little tidbit of every conversation, there's always going to be something new to enjoy. But most likely, we many times will talk about similar things from time to time with other people. And obviously, that would be the revealment of us not being able to remember everything, because if we could remember everything, obviously we're perfect in heaven. But if we could remember everything and we're having the same conversation over and over and over, supernaturally, we might not get tired of it, but we might think we'd like to talk about something different with someone else pertaining to God. It's kind of like here in this world, sadly, when we hear the truth over and over, certain truths, we become numb to them. But in heaven, there's always something to grow and learn in, and we can trust in that. And will we learn everything? Will we remember everything that we learn? Most likely, no. There will be some times of forgetting after, millions and billions of years, even though there's no such thing as time in heaven. But nonetheless, even if we are able to remember everything, we can trust and be excited that we are going to always forever be growing in God and the things of God and growing with each other and hearing just how wonderful God has been in our lives.